I had known Rachel for years before she made the choice that would change both our lives forever. We met in college, bonded over shared ambitions, late-night study sessions, and an endless stream of inside jokes. Over time, our friendship deepened, evolving into a romantic connection that felt natural, inevitable. I loved her deeply, and I thought she loved me too. For years, we spoke about a future together, dreams of marriage, home, children, and a life built on shared trust and mutual respect. But Rachel was always free-spirited, independent, adventurous, and unwilling to be confined by societal expectations. She often spoke about exploring the world, experiencing life unencumbered by obligations, and living fully in the moment. I admired her independence, her zest for life, and her refusal to settle for mediocrity. Yet beneath the admiration was a growing concern. Could a free spirit ever coexist with a desire for stability, commitment, and shared responsibility? The question came to a head one summer evening, after a long walk along the river where we often talked about our future. I asked her, gently, if she had considered marriage seriously. Her response was immediate and firm. I can't. Not now. I want to live, to explore, to experience life without being tied down. Marriage feels like a cage. Her words were soft, almost wistful, but the conviction behind them was undeniable. She had made her choice, and there was no room for compromise. At first, I was stunned. I had believed that our connection, our history, and our love would lead naturally to marriage. Yet Rachel's decision was final. She chose freedom over stability, adventure over tradition, and independence over partnership. I felt heartbreak, disappointment, and an ache that seemed to settle deep in my chest. But beneath the hurt, a quiet determination emerged. Life, I realized, has a way of teaching lessons in the most unexpected ways. Over the following months, Rachel pursued her free-spirited life with relentless enthusiasm. She traveled, met new people, and embraced experiences that many would envy. Meanwhile, I focused on building my own life, investing in my career, strengthening friendships, and reflecting on what I truly wanted. The pain of rejection gradually transformed into clarity. I realized that Rachel's choice was not a reflection of my worth, but a testament to her own desires and limitations. Then came the turning point. One evening, while attending a networking event for work, I met someone who would shift my perspective entirely. Amelia was intelligent, compassionate, and shared many of the values I had hoped to find in a life partner. We connected effortlessly, discovering common interests, shared humor, and a deep mutual respect. Over time, our bond grew stronger, and I realized that I was experiencing a level of connection with Amelia that I had not felt even with Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel's adventures began to reveal cracks in her idealized vision of freedom. Travel, parties, and fleeting romances provided excitement, but they lacked the depth, trust, and stability she had rejected in marriage. Loneliness crept in, and she began to experience the emotional consequences of living a life without a consistent support system. The excitement that had initially seemed liberating started to feel hollow. As our paths diverged, I remained committed to my own growth. Amelia and I developed a partnership grounded in mutual respect, shared goals, and emotional intimacy. We celebrated successes together, supported each other through setbacks, and built a life that combined adventure with stability, independence with connection. The contrast between my life and Rachel's increasingly unstable, isolated existence became starkly apparent. One evening, months after Rachel had chosen freedom over commitment, she reached out. Her tone was tentative, almost vulnerable. "I see you've moved on," she said. I guess I wanted to know if you're happy." I responded calmly, acknowledging the growth and happiness I had found, without malice or judgment. I did not offer to reconcile or revisit past choices. My focus was on my present and future, not the regrets of someone else. The shock, I realized, was just beginning for her. Rachel had rejected marriage for what she thought was liberation, but the reality she faced was isolation, lack of stability, and emotional turbulence. She had assumed that freedom would bring fulfillment, yet it revealed a different truth. Without grounding, love, and genuine connection, independence can become loneliness. The life she had idealized came with unforeseen costs, and she could not undo the decisions that had led her there. As months turned into years, I continued to thrive with Amelia. We traveled, worked, and built a life that balanced adventure with commitment, spontaneity with planning, and individuality with partnership. Rachel, by contrast, struggled to find lasting satisfaction. Temporary thrills and relationships could not replace the emotional security, trust, and support that a committed partnership provides. The lesson became clear to both of us, though in very different ways. I had learned that heartbreak can lead to growth, clarity, and the discovery of a life that aligns with your values and desires. Rachel had learned that rejecting stability for freedom without considering long-term consequences can result in isolation, disappointment, and emotional vulnerability. The choices she had made, which once seemed empowering, ultimately carried consequences she had not anticipated. In the end, the story was not about revenge, malice, or resentment. It was about the natural unfolding of life, the consequences of choices, and the clarity that comes from aligning decisions with long-term values. Rachel had shocked herself by rejecting marriage, only to confront a reality she had not fully imagined. I had shocked myself initially with heartbreak, but ultimately by discovering resilience, growth, and a life richer than I could have anticipated. Years later, reflecting on the journey, I realized that the divergence between Rachel's path and mine illustrated fundamental truths about life, love, and personal growth. Choices carry consequences. Freedom without structure can become isolation, and connection without trust can unravel quickly. The shock Rachel experienced was inevitable once she confronted the disparity between expectation and reality. And it was a reminder that decisions, particularly those that impact emotional and relational foundations, must be made with both courage and foresight. Looking back, I am grateful for the clarity and growth that emerged from heartbreak. Rachel's rejection of marriage, while initially devastating, led me to a life with Amelia that is fulfilling, balanced, and grounded in shared values. Rachel, in contrast, continues to navigate the complexities of a life chosen for freedom, often confronting the emotional costs of choices made without consideration of long-term consequences. Ultimately, this story is a testament to the power of personal agency, the inevitability of consequences, and the unpredictable ways in which life teaches lessons. Rachel's shock was profound, but it was not cruelly inflicted. It was the natural outcome of her decisions, a revelation of the realities that come with rejecting commitment for the sake of unbridled freedom. My path, forged through heartbreak and clarity, illustrates the potential for growth, resilience, and the discovery of authentic connection when one responds to life's challenges with integrity, self-respect, and courage. The narrative, while painful in its inception, ultimately demonstrates the contrast between impulsive freedom and considered partnership, the divergence between expectation and reality, and the clarity that emerges when one remains committed to personal growth, values, and emotional intelligence. Rachel's decision to reject marriage brought shock, but it also highlighted the profound importance of aligning choices with both immediate desires and long-term consequences, a lesson that resonates far beyond the confines of a single relationship. In the end, the story is not about winning or losing, but about the consequences of choices, the resilience of the human spirit, and the surprising ways life unfolds when expectations meet reality. Rachel's free-spirited life shocked her in ways she had never anticipated, while my journey led to fulfillment, growth, and the unexpected joy of a partnership grounded in love, trust, and mutual respect. Life, as it turns out, has a way of shocking everyone, sometimes in ways that teach the most profound lessons.